Welcome to all my dear friends. I hope you all are doing good amidst the global pandemic. But now examinations have started taking place, and in line with it, the Indian Institute of Banking and Finance have also come up with its flagship courses JAIB and CAIB. To help you prepare with these topics, we have come up with a series of MCQ questions based on Module 1 of Advanced Bank Management subject for CAIB. So, I hope you all are safe, healthy, and preparing for your examination. In line to support you, we have started this series. Now, let us come up to the important MCQs from Module 1 of the Advanced Bank Management subject for upcoming CAIB examination. The first question is, which of the following statement is incorrect about economics? Which of the following statement is incorrect about economics? The options are: it deals with production, allocation, and use of resources. It deals with distribution of resources. There is no acknowledgement of scarcity but emphasizes on vast availability. And it studies human behavior as a relation between ends and means. What you can do is you can keep on taking the answers and marking the answers, and you can check at the end that how many questions out of 45 that you have done correct. So let us see the answer to this question. The answer to this question is: there is no acknowledgement of scarcity is a incorrect statement regarding economics, because economics acknowledges the scarcity and emphasizes the vast availability and various potential by which the resources can be utilized. So option C is the correct answer. Coming up to the next question, the word economics is derived from which language? It's a simple question. I think the options are A. Latin, B. Greek, C. Persian, and D. Italian. The correct answer to this question is the word economics has been derived from Greek language. Actually, it is made from two Greek words, eco meaning home and nomos meaning accounts. Coming up to the third question. The third question is, economics was defined as study of wealth by whom? Who gave the definition of economics as study of wealth? The options being Professor Alfred Marshall, Lionel Robbins, Joseph Butler, or Adam Smith. The correct answer to this question is D. Adam Smith. I would like to add Adam Smith, the founder of modern economics, in his book An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations, defined the term economics as study of wealth. So this is an important question, as Adam Smith is also the father of modern economics. Now coming up to the next question. The next question is, economics was defined as study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. This is the keyword, study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. Who gave this definition of economics? The options are Professor Alfred Marshall, Lionel Robbins, Joseph Butler, and Adam Smith. The correct answer is Professor Alfred Marshall. Professor Alfred Marshall, an English economist, defined economics as study of mankind in the ordinary businesses of life. It includes both study of wealth and study of man. Coming up to the next question. Which of the following statement does not analyzes the Lionel Robbins definition of economics? In the first module, we majorly deal with major definitions of economics, the different concepts of economics, the concepts of GDP. So in line with the module, the question is, which of the following statement does not analyze the Lionel Robbins definition of economics? And there are four statements are there. First being, man has unlimited wants. Second being, resources are limited and have no alternate use. Third being, means to satisfy human wants are unlimited. And fourth, man has to make a choice. So now you have to pick which two options does not analyze the Lionel Robbins definition. You can answer in your own and check whether it is correct or not. The correct answer is option C, that is 2 and 3 are incorrect. Means resources are limited but have no alternate use. Lionel Robbins defined that resources are limited but still they have several potential uses. Means they can be used alternatively. Hence this statement is wrong. And also, means to satisfy human wants are unlimited. This is also wrong statement, as means to satisfy human wants are always limited. Needs may be unlimited, but means to satisfy the needs are always unlimited. Hence, option C is the correct answer. Coming up to the next question. Consumption in a capitalist economy is determined by. Consumption in a capitalist economy is determined by, options are A. Individual decision, B. Private firms, C. Market influence, and D. Factors of production. The correct answer is individual's decision. It is the individual consumer's decision that determines the consumption in a capitalist or a market economy. A consumption of an individual is decided by how much he wants to spend, how much is the wage he is earning. So it is an individual decision that how he is going to consume. Coming up to the next question. In which form of economy government does not interfere in economic decisions? जिसमें इकोनॉमिक डिसीजंस में गवर्नमेंट डज नॉट इंटरफेयर्स. द ऑप्शंस आर सटल मार्केट इकोनॉमी, सोशलिस्ट इकोनॉमी, लाइसेंस फायर इकोनॉमी और अनकमांड इकोनॉमी. तो ऑप्शंस आर कंफ्यूजिंग. द करेक्ट आंसर टू दिस क्वेश्चन इज सी, लाइसेंस फायर इकोनॉमी. This is the extreme case of market economy in which the government does not interfere in economic decisions of the country. The next question being, the relationship between price and quantity bought is called. What is the relationship between the price and quantity bought is called? Price schedule, supply schedule, demand schedule, or equilibrium schedule? The correct answer is C, demand schedule. The higher the price and other things remaining constant, fewer units are bought by the consumers. This relationships between price and quantity bought is called demand schedule or the demand curve. This is an important question. Please mark it. This topic might have one or two questions in your examination. The next question. Quantity demanded tends to fall as the price rises, and this happens because of two reasons. So we have to mark which are the following two reasons due to which quantity demanded tends to fall as price increases, and the option are income effect, demand effect, substitution effect, or production effect. The correct answer to this question is D, that is first and third. Income effect and substitution effect are the two reasons. Now what is income effect? As the prices go up, income at disposal in the hands of consumer tend to be low, hence the demand decreases. Substitution effect means price of one item rises and its use is substituted by similar goods like tea and coffee. If the prices of tea is rising, consumers may consume coffee and vice versa. So income effect and substitution effect are the two reasons why quantity demanded tends to fall as price increases. Coming up to the next question. Which of the following are some of the forces behind the market demand? Which of the following are some of the forces behind the market demand? Options being nominal income and substitutive products, average income and size of market, supply schedule and factors of production, and D, labor and wages. The correct answer is B, average income and supply size of market. Few factors which determine the quantity demanded at a given price are average income, size of market, price and availability of related goods, taste and preferences of the customer, and special influences, etc. Coming up to the next question. Which of the following are forces behind the market supply? Options are cost of production, price of technological advancement, government policies, and all of the above. The correct answer to this question is all of the above, as all these three factors determine the market supply. Forces behind market supply are cost of production, price of inputs, technological advancements, price of related goods, government policies, and special factors like weather, market structure, or spirit of innovation, etc. Now coming up to the 12th question. Market equilibrium comes at a price and quantity where? Options are where the forces of cost and output are in balance, where the forces determining deficit and surplus are in balance, where the forces of supply and demand are in balance, and where the forces of income and expenditure are in balance. So market equilibrium. The correct answer is market equilibrium comes at a price and quantity where forces of supply and demand are in balance. At equilibrium price, amount that the buyers want to buy is just equal to the amount that the sellers want to sell, and hence market equilibrium exists. Coming up to the next question. If the price of a commodity has doubled, what does it mean? What can we imply looking at the price if the commodities price has doubled. The options are cost of production has increased, demand has risen, decrease in supply, or we can't determine without more information. Now this is a tricky question. Any of the above options can be correct, but without any further information we cannot give the right answer. So the correct answer to this question is can't be determined without more information. It could be even one or combination of both leading to one another. So if the price of commodity has doubled, we need to study several factors to determine the influence of it. Now coming up to the next question, M3, the terminology M3 in money supply refers to. Options are M1 plus time deposit with the banking system, M2 plus saving deposit with the post office saving banks, option 3 M2 plus other deposits with the RBI, or D, none of the above. This is a very tricky question and it has been asked in many of the examinations, whether it be JIIB or CIIB. So this is an important question, please mark it. The correct answer to this question is M3 refers to M1 plus time deposit with the banking system. Now coming up to the next question, rise in general prices caused by increasing demand for goods and services is called. What is the term that we use for rise in general prices caused by increasing demand for goods and services? The correct answer is D, demand pull inflation. Now what is demand pull inflation? Demand exceeds supply and it leads to the shortage, ultimately leading to the increase in price. When the quantity demanded increases and supply tends to be similar or decreases, it leads to shortage in the market and ultimately leading to increase in price. This is called demand pull inflation. Now coming up to the next question, what is cost push inflation? Cost push inflation is, options are increase in cost of production and no suitable alternative available. Option B, increase in quantity of money leads to increase in demand and hence inflation. Option C, increase in income, hence spending power increases that leads to inflation. Or option D, increase in cost of good quality product in similar segment. The correct answer to this question is option A, that is increase in cost of production and no suitable alternative available. As cost of production increases, producers tend to supply low for the time being, and with no suitable alternative available in the market, it leads to cost push inflation. Now coming up to the next question, characteristics of GDP deflator is. Now GDP deflator is an important term, please mark this question as important. The options are measures of level of prices of all old and new domestically produced goods only, measure of level of prices of all old and new domestically produced goods and services both, measure of level of prices of all new domestically produced goods and services, or option D, measure of level of prices of all new domestically produced services only. The correct answer to this question is GDP deflator is measure of level of prices of all new domestically produced goods and services. Please mark it, it is the final goods and services produced in the company that is taken into account for calculating the GDP deflator. Now coming up to the next question, as per J.M. Keynes, rate of interest is purely a dash phenomena. As per J.M. Keynes, rate of interest is purely a dash phenomenon, options being monetary, demand influenced, differential calculation, or marginal cost. This question has been asked in prior exams also. The answer to this question is rate of interest is purely a monetary phenomena. Now coming up to the next question, question number 19. As increase in quantity of money, what effect it has? It increases the rate of interest, it has no change on rate of interest, it brings down the rate of interest, or may increase or decrease the rate of interest. So the question asking is, if the quantity of money increases, what effect it has on rate of interest? So the correct answer is it brings down the rate of interest, option C being the correct. Assuming there is no change in expectations and nominal income, increase in quantity of money through buying of securities by central bank or through any other mean will lower the rate of interest. Also, increase in quantity of money supply leads people to buy bonds and bonds prices will go up, implying a decline in rate of interest. Now coming up to the next question. Which are the steps of Hicks-Hansen synthesis? The options are using classical theory to derive a. The correct answer to this question is all the above three are the steps in Hicks-Hansen synthesis. That is using classical theory to derive a curve called IS curve, using Keynes theory to derive a curve called LM curve, combining IS and LM curves, and all of the above. So the correct answer is all of the above. Coming up to the next question. IS and LM curves relates which two dependent variables? IS and LM curve relates which two dependent variables? Options are demand and supply, income and rate of interest, income and demand, and rate of interest and equilibrium point. The correct answer is IS and LM curve relates income and rate of interest. Next question is LM curve is derived from which theory? LM curve is derived from which theory? The options are A. Keynesian liquidity preference theory, B. Classical theory, C. Law of diminishing marginal utility, or D. Liquidity and money model. So the correct answer to this question is LM curve is derived from Keynesian liquidity preference theory. Next question. Which of the following is not a phase in business cycle? Business cycle, as we all know, there are 4 stages in business cycle. So the question is which of the following is not a phase in the business cycle? The options are A. Succession, B. Recession, C. Depression, or D. Recovery. The correct answer is A. Succession. The 4 phases of business cycle are boom, recession, recovery, and depression. Now next question. Which sector accounts for highest of India's gross value addition in the recent years? In recent years, which sector of the economy accounts for highest of India's gross value addition? The options are A. Agriculture, B. Industry, C. Services, and D. MSME. The correct answer is C. Services. Service sector accounts for about 52% of India's gross value addition. This is taking the economy closer towards fundamentals of a developed economy, as developed economies have higher value of service-oriented activities. Now next question. MRTP Act stands for. This is a very important question. MRTP Act, this question has been asked in several examinations in the past, and it might come in this exam also. MRTP Act stands for Money and Retail Trade Potential Act, or Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act, or Monopolies and Reformative Trade Practices Act, or D. Manufacturing and Reformation Trade Practices Act. So the correct answer to this question is option B. Monopolies and Restricted Trade Practices Act. This was passed in 1969. Now coming up to the next question. Which of the following is not a money market instrument? Money market instruments, options are commercial paper, certificate of deposit, negotiable instruments, or repurchase bills. So the correct answer is negotiable instruments are not a part of money market. Next question. Which of the following is the capital market regulator in India? Which of the following regulatory body regulates the capital market in India? The options are A. Exim, B. CCIL, C. RBI, or D. SEBI. The correct answer is D. SEBI. Stock and Exchange Board of India, established under SEBI Act 1992, regulates the capital market. 28th question is, what does WMA refers to? This is also an important question. Options are A. Wealth and Monetary Advance. Options B. Ways and Means Advance. Option C. Women Market Association. Or option D. Ways of Market Administration. The correct answer to this question is option B. Ways and Means Advance. Coming up to the 29th question. Payment and Settlement Systems Act was enacted in which year? Payment and Settlement Systems Act was enacted in the year. Options are 2002, 2006, 2000, or 2007. The correct answer is option D, 2007. Payments and Settlement System Act was enacted in the year 2007. Now 30th question. What is the minimum average maturity period for which external commercial borrowing can be availed by Indians from a non-resident lender. Minimum average maturity period for external commercial borrowings ECB, which can be availed by Indians from any non-resident lenders. And the options are A 3 years, B 4 years, C 5 years, or D 6 years. The correct answer being A 3 years. Minimum average maturity period for external commercial borrowings that can be availed by any resident from a non-resident lender is 3 years. Coming up to the next question. What caused the twin economic imbalance in the Indian economy during the 1990s? In the 1990s, Indian economy faced twin economic balance because of which of the following two characters? The options are A. Fiscal crisis and monetary crisis. Option B. External payment crisis and fiscal crisis. Option C. Monetary and supply deficit crisis. Or option D. Demand and output crisis. The correct answer is option B. External payment crisis and fiscal crisis. Coming up to the 32nd question. Bank rate is also referred to as. What is the other term that is also referred as bank rate? The correct options, let us see at the options first. Options are statutory rate, advance rate, reserve rate, or discount rate. The correct answer is D, discount rate. Bank rate is also referred to as discount rate as it is the rate at which RBI is ready to rediscount the bills of exchange or any other commercial papers to the banks. So bank rate is also referred to as discount rate. Now coming up to the 33rd question. By increasing the CRR, that is cash reserve ratio, RBI, what effect does RBI has by affecting the increase in CRR? The options are RBI reduces the deposit available with the bank to make loans, or it reduces the money supply, or it decreases the inflation, or option D, all of the above. So the correct answer is option D, all of the above. By increasing the CRR, RBI reduces the deposit available with banks to make loans and hence reduces the money supply and ultimately reduces inflation. 34th question is, this is also a very important question asked in many previous years examination. Please note it. This is a multiple time coming question in every examination and this will also help you in banking preparations also. SLR is defined under which section of which act? The options are section 24 of RBI Act, section 42 of RBI Act, section 24 of Banking Regulation Act, or section 42 of Banking Regulation Act. The correct answer is section 24 of Banking Regulation Act of 1949 defines statutory liquidity ratio. Now coming up to the next question. In order to provide transparency and stability to the financial markets, an indicative schedule for issuance of T-bills or treasury bills or dated securities on dash basis is being announced. So what is the tenure or what is the frequency in which treasury bills or other dated securities are announced in the financial markets? Options are A, quarterly, B, daily, C, weekly, or D, monthly. The correct answer is A, quarterly. 36th question. Monetary policy is reviewed by RBI on. This has been in recent news as many twice or thrice RBI has decreased the repo and reverse repo rate in this year's monetary policy, and options for this question is A, fortnightly basis, B, monthly basis, C, bi-monthly basis, and D, quarterly basis. So monetary policy is reviewed by RBI on C, monthly basis. The correct answer is bi-monthly basis. Please pardon. Monetary policy is reviewed by RBI on bi-monthly basis. Coming up to the next question. Under open market operations, that is referred to as OMO in short, RBI buys or sells government bonds in which market? Options are A, primary market, B, stock market, C, secondary market, or D, tertiary market. The correct answer is C, secondary market. Under open market operations, RBI buys or sells government bonds in secondary market. Now coming up to the 38th question. Which committee recommended the FRBM Act? FRBM Act was recommended by which committee? Options are A, Dholakia Committee, B, EAS Sarma Committee, C, Chittaranjan Committee, or D, Venugopal Committee. The correct answer is option B, EAS Sarma Committee. Committee headed by Dr. EAS Sarma submitted report in July 2000 which led to the enactment of Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act in August 2003. Now coming up to the next question, 39th question. GDP at factor cost. This is a formula based direct question which can be asked. GDP at factor cost is equal to GDP at marketplace minus indirect tax minus what? The options are A. Subsidy, B. Interest, C. Grants, or D. Loans. The correct answer is A. Subsidy. If we subtract indirect taxes and subsidy from the GDP at market prices, we get GDP at factor cost. So this is an important question. Now 40th question is, GDP is a dash measure. Options are undimensional measure, traditional measure, solitude measure, or an aggregate measure. So the correct answer to this question is GDP is an aggregate measure. It does not define each and every sector differently, but it is an aggregate measure which a higher GDP does not necessarily means a higher welfare programs, or a country with very high GDP may have inequality in income distribution. So this is an aggregate measure, not a solitude or a sector based measure. Now next question is, GDP is equal to NDP plus dash. Options are A. Subsidies, B. Depreciation, C. Depression, or D. National debt. The correct answer is B. Depreciation. If we add depreciation to the net domestic product, we will get gross domestic product. Now coming up to the next question, question 42nd. Dividend and profits come under which section in the union budget? There are several sections in the union budget. So dividend and profit, this comes under which section in the union budget? The options are A. Plan expenditure, B. Capital receipts, C. Revenue receipts, or D. Non-plan expenditure. The correct answer is C. Revenue receipts. Dividend and profit comes under revenue receipts in the union budget. 43rd question. Interest payment and prepayment premium comes under which section in the union budget? So union budget say these two are the important questions. Interest payment and prepayment premium comes under which section in the union budget? And options are non-debt receipt, debt receipt, capital expenditure, or revenue expenditure. The correct answer is option D, revenue expenditure. Interest payment and prepayment premium comes under revenue expenditure in the union budget. Now, two major factors that determine India's current account deficit are what are the two major factors that determine our country's current account deficit? The options are A. Crude oil prices and gold import, B. Defense procurement and capital subsidy, C. Coal and mineral block supply, or D. Food and pharmaceutical prices. So the correct answer is crude oil prices and gold import, because India is a major consumer of crude oil and percentage of production in India is very low. So these leads to high current account deficit. Coming to the last question of this slide, GDP growth in India is skewed in favor of which sector and share of dash sector is stagnant. So it is asking GDP growth in India is skewed in favor of which sector and which sector's growth is stagnant. Options are agriculture and manufacturing, B. Service and manufacturing, C. Manufacturing and agriculture, and D. Manufacturing and services. The correct answer is service and manufacturing. That is, GDP growth in India is skewed in favor of service sector and share of manufacturing sector is stagnant. So by this question we come to the end of this section on Advanced Bank Management's 45 important MCQs from module 1. If you like this series, we will continue with the series and we will come with several other questions from different modules. So thanks for watching. I would like to thank you all and wish you all good health and good preparation for the upcoming examination. Thank you for watching givmock.com, and if you like this video, if you like further videos from different modules of different subjects, please like, share and subscribe our channel.